it's the first time every time. Like a virgin. Recording for the very first time.
That's our lead-in.
Huh?
That's our lead-in.
Great. Now Madonna's going to sue us.
I know.
Anyway, all right, here we go. I don't know why. I don't know why. Okay. I just thought of like news music.
Oh.
Like news music coming in.
Yeah.
I think I'd said that last time. All right, doesn't matter. Okay. Hello and welcome to Geek-lish, the language of geek culture. I am your host, Tim Aguiar, and joining me is the girl who lived, Heidi Burbo.
Oh. I never know what's coming, so I'm always excited to hear what it's going to be this week. That's exciting. Okay, everybody, for more information about the Geek-lish podcast, you can listen to our episodes or download them from geek-lish.com. We're also on Facebook at geek- whichever you prefer, lish, Twitter _lish, and we're on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Podcast, Blueberry, and iHeartRadio.
We're everywhere.
We're trying to get everywhere.
We're trying to get everywhere.
We're trying to get everywhere we can possibly get.
Trying to spread that seed.
And also, check out our website for extras, things that didn't make it to the podcast episode.
Stuff, yeah. Cool stuff.
It's usually our just crazy ramblings.
Yeah. Pretty much. And I'd like to start off the way I've been starting off with a hello to my little buddy, Oliver.
Hello, Oliver.
What's going on, buddy? You can't answer that.
We can't hear it.
You can, but you're going to answer it. I'm just not going to be able to hear it. Anyway, just wanted to let you know that you're awesome. I go to bed. I love you. And now on to the news. Well, not really news.
It's info.
It's info.
Yeah, it's info.
Gonna drop the 411.
Up in here.
Who remembers that?
Anybody?
Huh?
Anybody?
No, not really.
No?
411? That hasn't been used since in like a decade.
Oh, so pretty much anybody your age or older.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
say so. 411. Because that you had to dial that for information.
Oh, yeah, that's
Who the
right.
fuck dials for information?
I know.
Nobody does that.
No, not anymore.
So who would know that? Anyway, so J.K. Rowling, the creator of the Harry Potter universe.
The amazing woman.
Yeah, it's so crazy that she was homeless.
I know.
And then wrote a handful of some like amazing stories and is now a billionaire.
Yeah, she was actually the richest, like one of the richest people in the world, but she's huge on philanthropy.
Yeah.
So she just gives so much money away. She's like the Gates.
Yeah, that's right. She gave like all of her money away. Well, not all of it, but she gave a good portion of money away. Anyway, the whole story is that I guess people are kind of weirdly upset with the this news that she kind of came out with about Dumbledore. Now, when I first heard about this, I was kind of confused because I was like, didn't she announce this a while ago? And
If it's what I think it is, yeah, she did.
I don't know why I'm dancing around the issue for some reason. She claimed that Dumbledore was gay, was homosexual, and she announced that he was gay in 2007.
Yeah. So it's like making...
2019.
Yeah, I know.
So here, and when it first was announced, I remember people being fairly upset with it. Like, oh, what? That's kind of stupid.
Yeah,
whatever.
which I don't get why they were upset, but...
Yeah. But now it's so weird because when I first heard about it again and I heard that there was a problem,
Again.
my first thought was, oh, people, get over it. The
Yeah, I
character is
know.
gay. Who cares? But...
Dress that fabulous and not be...
I know, right? He's a pretty fabulous wizard.
Yeah, I
Let's
know.
be honest. All right? That guy fucking sauntered into a room.
I know.
All right.
It was pretty awesome.
He practically would glide.
Exactly.
That guy, there were signs.
Yeah.
But anyway, but the uproar that I've been hearing, well, I did hear a little bit of the negativity about it, but I guess people are claiming that she's kind of copping out of him being gay. Now, because the last movie that she wrote was Crimes of Grindelwald.
Right.
And in that movie, I guess we were supposed to see a gayer Dumbledore. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
Gay people don't look different.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. Like, does he wear like a horn on his head? Like, is he just, he's not dressed like a unicorn. Like, oh, there's gay Dumbledore.
Yeah, I know.
He's a unicorn galloping into a room. Like, no. He was, Jude Law played him in The Crimes of Grindelwald. And, I mean, whatever. But a lot of people were upset that we didn't get to see a gay Dumbledore. So the uproar went the other way. People are upset that we didn't get it. And it's very confusing to me.
Yeah.
What's happening here. And I guess in an interview that she did in the Blu-ray edition of Crimes of Grindelwald, Rowling elaborated on an earlier explanation of Dumbledore's relationship with the Dark Wizard. She said, with the Dark Wizard being Grindelwald,
right?
She said that their relationship was incredibly intense. It was passionate, and it was a love relationship. She also went on to say that she didn't see it kind of too sexual.
Yeah.
It was just more love, and kind of that's where. She also explained that Dumbledore falling for Grindelwald added to his horror when the Dark Wizard turned evil.
Right.
So that's where his kind of reaction to him being evil kind of would come from. But I mean, you can get contextual clues there, but it's just so weird that people are actually claiming that she's copping out of her original claim that this character was gay, and that in a movie she never showed it. And it's just like,
well, and I don't know how much control she has over the movie content.
Well,
I mean, not all authors of books have that much control.
Right. Well, I mean,
not to say that she doesn't, but also I don't think she's copping out as much as she's trying to make it where it's not all about that.
Right.
People who are gay, straight, bi, whatever, that is across the board. It's a part of who they are as a whole, not who they are as a whole.
Right.
I mean, people are a lot of different things. So it's a little bit infuriating to me to have people upset that we didn't see a gayer Dumbledore. What does it matter? If you know that's part of the backstory.
And what does that even mean?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. It's like, is he supposed to have a rainbow flag on his t-shirt?
Yeah. His cape is meant to be of rainbow. Like, give me a break.
Yeah, it's it's a, like you said, it's contextual. It's a backstory that if you know that, it adds depth to what's happening.
Yeah,
the whole story doesn't have to be about that. And I think people on both sides, people who were frustrated at first or upset that it was, oh, he's gay, it's because they couldn't associate with Dumbledore anymore.
Right.
And then people who didn't see a gay enough Dumbledore and who were gay were like, well, I can't associate with him because he's not gay enough, or he doesn't represent us or whatever. And that's not who he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to represent gay or straight people. He's a wizard.
Yeah. He's a fictional character.
Yeah, I know.
In a fictional universe.
Like, don't make it about a movement.
About a fictional school.
Yeah.
With fictional magic.
I want to believe
There's a lot
it's real.
of fiction. I would love to believe it's real. I'm still waiting for my owl.
I know. But I think making it about a movement takes away from the whole Harry Potter experience.
I agree. But, I mean, you also got to think about what the timeline is for when the movie takes place.
Yeah.
It's like, what, like the 20s or 30s?
Yeah.
You're not going to be openly gay in that time.
No.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Even if he was, he wouldn't be, he wouldn't show it as much.
And
he would try to kind of reel it back in fear of being, killed in the street or whatever.
But even if it was accepted in the wizarding community, which in my deepest, the wizarding community would be way more accepting.
See, I don't agree, because
you don't think so?
No, because there's a faction that hates Muggles so much.
Oh yeah,
they mudbloods.
Yeah, but
that's their derogatory word for people.
Yeah.
Who don't have magic.
Yeah.
So I think those types of people would also have a discrimination against
probably.
other people. You know what I mean?
You're just ruining it for me, Tim.
I'm just saying.
I can't associate with this now. I'm very upset.
All right, next story. No. But, I mean, she's also been known to kind of randomly pop in new stuff years later.
Yeah.
I mean, whether they be like, some of them were kind of stupid, and some of them were more interesting. Like that, she regrets having Hermione and Ron be together.
Yeah.
Like, she regrets that, and it's like, I kind of see that. I see where that kind of could come in, because I thought her and Harry should have been together from the beginning.
See, I liked Hermione and Ron together.
See, I know. But
regardless, regardless, I mean, that was her thought, and she's the
Yeah, that was
author.
her thought. But I mean, nobody's upset with that.
Yeah.
But she did have a thought about like, how, Harry wouldn't agree with the way certain Islamic people are being treated. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? Why would a fictional character give a shit? Like,
I think because he was different, and people
I don't know. It's just a
had a
weird.
certain ideology about him because he was different.
I know,
Maybe
but
that's what it's about.
It's just such a weird thing to bring up
It is
and be
weird,
like, Harry
but-
Potter would have thought this.
But I
It's
think
just like, that's weird.
I think with her, she lived with these characters in her mind for so long; they are part of her life.
And they feel real to her.
They feel real to her,
And
and,
that- yeah.
she brings in relative conversations to relative times. You know what I mean? Like when Harry Potter came out, we weren't in the world we live in now.
Right.
That's the way I think about it.
Yeah.
Those types of comments don't bother me. I just go, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't lose sleep over it. I was just like, that's a weird thing to say. It's a weird
I
thing to
didn't
say
even
that
think it's
Harry would
weird.
care about.
But
Or whatever.
But that's just it's the difference in
Yeah.
But
But it's also her character.
yeah, exactly.
So she can have her character believe and think and
Right.
have sex with whatever the hell they want them to have sex with.
Yeah,
I don't really
exactly.
care.
Yeah.
Those are her characters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It was just interesting to me that, because when I first heard about it, because I remember telling you, like, people are upset about the Dumbledore thing again. And when I looked into it, I was like, oh, it's a different side that people are upset with. People are
Yeah.
upset that there isn't enough of Dumbledore being gay out there. So it's really a case of, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't,
Yeah.
in her case.
And I don't really care for that because
I think, and I think you're going to see a pattern with these stories of you can't win. You can't please
win.
You can't please anybody with some of these. And to the next story, Jordon Peele.
I miss the Key and Peele show.
Half of the comedy duo, Key and Peele.
Key Peele.
A hilarious fucking show.
Oh,
I
God.
loved that show. It was so
Crying,
funny.
laughing.
It was so funny. And I love it. He's become an amazing director. An
Yeah.
Oscar-winning director.
Yeah.
Or as I like to say, Academy Award-winning director.
Oh, jeez. Turn on the snob.
There is, excuse me, Hyder.
I didn't know he directed the movies he did.
Yeah, he wrote and directed them.
I did not know that.
Yeah, well, he won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay for Get Out.
Yeah.
So that
did not know that.
was a
And
huge accomplishment.
There's a lot of different people that have acted for him and say that he uses the horror genre in a very interesting way to tell a story.
Yeah, I agree. And they're very provocative of thought. Mm-hmm. They're not just like jump scares and scary. They're horror, but it's more psychological than
That stuff
a
messes
ghost.
with me.
And those are
The worst.
Those are the worst ones because
Yeah.
those make you think and go, "What the fuck is happening?"
Those are the ones you really can't sleep at night.
Yeah,
You can't turn off your brain.
because you think about it and go, "What the hell is going on in
Yeah.
this movie?" And then when you figure it out, you go, "Oh my god!" Oh, it was, especially with Get Out. The clues were literally staring at you in the face of what was happening. With the
never saw it.
groundskeeper and the house, the housemaid were both, was an older black man and an older black woman, and there were scenes. If you can Get Out, watch it. The minor spoilers, but there's a scene where the main character goes outside for a cigarette, and the groundskeeper is just running laps around the house, and it seems weird. It's like, why the fuck is this guy just running? And he seems very robotic in a sense, and you don't think anything of it. But prior to that happening, the father of the daughter that he's dating says to him that, like, oh yeah, my father, her grandfather was an Olympic track athlete, and you don't think anything of it, and you see this black groundskeeper just running laps, just going nuts, full ham, and then when you find out that they're putting the consciousness of the white people into the black bodies, then it makes sense that, oh my god, the grandfather is the groundskeeper and he's doing laps because he misses running. Now that he has a young body to do it in, he can do it, and he just loves doing it. And it makes those scenes so much creepier.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, that's so horrific to even think about. It's so fun, and it was such a good movie.
Yeah.
Get Out was an amazing movie, and he just wrote and directed Us, which just came out.
Which one of the actresses plays from Black Panther?
That's right.
Because she was on The View.
Not the sister, but the girlfriend.
The girlfriend, yeah. She was on The View.
Whatever. And she's a great actress.
Yes.
Lupita Nyong'o, I believe.
I believe so, yep.
She's a great actress. The other actors, the actor, one of the actors is also the leader of the opposing clan.
Oh, really?
Who fights T'Challa in the beginning of the movie.
Oh.
He comes in with the gorilla mask.
Yep.
He plays her husband in the movie.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, shit. 2 Black Panther characters. That's pretty cool. Is T'Challa going to throw in here somewhere? Just fucking randomly come in like, oh, shit, there he is. Just be watching Black Panther in the background.
Yeah, I know.
That'd be a funny little nod to like, they were in it. But I love it when movies do that. But anyway, Us has gotten really good reviews.
Yeah, it has.
It's going to be another success for him. This was a $20 million budget movie, $70 million opening weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, another huge success.
Yeah.
But Jordon Peele recently said that when, I guess, in speaking in a conversation series at the Upright Citizens Brigade, let me do that again. Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in East Hollywood, the Oscar-winning filmmaker, I like that they put that in there, revealed that he doubts he will ever create a movie that follows the story of a white protagonist. I mean, it doesn't really sound like what people said he said, you know?
Yeah, but this is like Brie Larson.
That's what I mean.
It's the same. People just, I'm telling you right now, I wish I could call her out. There is this YouTuber that is a woman. She's from Australia, I think.
Yeah.
And she was such a snarky piece of crap. Ugh. She's like, oh, white people can't do anything anymore. I'm like,
it's not true.
You didn't even hear what she said.
Yeah.
I watched her whole speech.
Yeah.
And what he said, probably taken completely out of context.
Well, it was to an extent because people are saying that, Jordon Peele said he's not going to he will never cast a white lead in any of his movies.
And that's not even what he said.
And that's, kind of what he said, but, you're really, you're harshening what he said. He didn't say it to that degree.
Yeah.
He pretty much said, I don't think I'll ever create a movie that follows a white protagonist. That makes sense. That makes sense to me.
Now, you and I talked about this, and the only problem I have with that is I think creatively, he might be hindering himself because he might come up with something and be like, oh, that's a really good storyline that should follow a white protagonist. But there are plenty of stories, plenty of stories to tell with a non-white protagonist before he gets to that point.
Yeah.
That would be my only problem.
But like I said, like my argument was when we talked about this was that I think in that sense, I do kind of agree with that. But I think, when you purposefully hinder yourself, you force yourself to think out of that box.
Yeah.
And you, in turn, can be more creative because now if you're blocking something saying, I will never paint the color red, then you find ways around it that can make a painting even more beautiful.
Right.
And I think that's what he's doing I don't think it's a racist thing.
No, absolutely
I don't think he's being a racial asshole.
No.
I think he's got stories he wants to tell.
Yeah.
And he doesn't see a white lead in any of those stories for now. He never said he's never going to do it.
No, he said, I don't think I will. And you made a good argument.
That's right, because even in the argument you said, if he does do a movie with a white lead, then he's now a hypocrite.
Yeah. But that's going to come from a certain community.
Oh, well, yes. The people who 100% believe that he said, I will never cast a white lead, is going to believe that.
Good or bad.
Good or bad, yeah.
So if you have people in the black community that think, great, now we'll have more of our narratives told, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But if he picks something different, then
Right.
he's going to get,
He might get backlash. I agree.
and he'll get backlash from the people who were on the other side,
Yeah.
probably white people who think,
Yeah.
But you made a good point where you said that there are people out there that just don't cast like black,
Right.
There
There was a funny meme that I saw that I laughed at where, because whenever anything happens, like I use this example, I'm going to use it now, was Idris Elba. And I'm using this example also because I know you can't say his name.
He's so freaking I can't.
He's a handsome man.
He is so
But-
damn.
Yeah. But Idris Elba, there was rumors that he is looked at to be cast as the next 007.
Oh my god, that would be. I would love to see that.
And people are upset with that because
They're racist.
007 has always been white, blah blah blah. And their argument has always been, with this and with anything else, has always been, if you want to have like in this, I'll use this example. If you want to have a black spy, make your own black spy. Why change what 007 is? Why not have your own spy who's black? So after this story came out, a lot of people were upset, white people specifically, saying that this is racist, blah blah blah.
Ugh.
And somebody posted a meme of, every time this happens, someone always says, make your own character. And now that someone makes their own, is making their own stories with their own characters, now it's, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to do that. You just said that I could.
Yeah.
Because you didn't want me to change anything. Not that he's ever changing anything.
Right.
These are all original stories. But, it's again, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
That's why
nobody's winning.
Yeah, that's why it's not about the character
It's
and the
not,
story. It's
at all.
about
It's
just
not at
being
all.
racist.
Absolutely. I absolutely.
Because
And
why should you care? I love enrichment of characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see a black 007, only because it doesn't fucking matter what he is.
it's a code name.
007 is a spy, and if he's smooth and he has all those cool gadgets and he gets the girl, he's 007.
Hey, who
Doesn't
gives a
matter
shit?
what his skin looks like.
It doesn't really matter. But there was another interesting comment that I had heard, which was, people were saying if a white director said they were never going to cast a black lead, people would be in an uproar.
Oh, yeah.
And to that argument, a lot of people said white directors don't have to say that. They just do it.
Do it, yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, boom, gotcha.
See,
Because-
I do think there's a hypocrisy there, because if a white, now granted, it's because if you look historically,
Yeah.
white people haven't, not, historically speaking, white people have not been on the right side of history when it comes to racial relations.
Unfortunately.
But I think it is a little bit hypocritical that if you are going to condemn, you have to condemn them equally.
No, I completely agree.
And if you don't, then it's a little bit hypocritical. But you're right. There are white directors, producers, whatever, that just don't even say it. They just don't cast
they
black
just do
or
it.
anybody, any
Right.
minority.
Yeah. But that also, also going back to what he actually said.
Right.
He didn't say that.
No.
So that argument is crap.
Yeah.
It's bupkissed.
You can watch a couple episodes of Key and Peele and see that he's
He's married to a white Jewish woman.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say I know. But
Give me a break.
He's not, I think where he's coming from is, now that we've had Black Panther, which was a huge success, and everybody was like, oh, you can't have a majority black power superhero movie that's successful, and that's been proven wrong.
Right.
Now the door is open to all these different stories that can be told.
I
That
completely
probably he's got millions of them in his head, and his thinking is, you know what? I'm going to be busy. I want to tell a person's experience that looks like me.
Right. And I got some quotes here from him. He said, I don't see myself casting a white dude as the lead in my movie, said Peele, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Not that I don't like white dudes, but I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
And
That's the point.
yeah, he also acknowledged the privilege of being allowed to choose whose experience is centered in the stories he tells without suffering professionally.
Yeah.
Because he's a successful director, so he's
Yeah.
not going to be punished for this.
Right.
Which is great. I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
And he went on to say, the way I look at it, I get to cast black people in my movies, Peele said. I feel fortunate to be in this position where I can say to Universal, I want to make a $20 million horror movie with a black family, and they say yes.
Yeah.
5 years ago, this wouldn't have been able to happen.
Yeah, do you think...
That's
I mean, I always
crazy.
go back to superhero movies, but do you really... I really feel like Black Panther opened the door.
I mean, yes.
It just seemed like it was... It's like something had to make money for people to go, oh, yeah, it can do this.
Yeah.
And now we can get all these great stories.
I mean, a lot of people go back to Blade, Wesley Snipes, saying that Black Panther isn't the first black superhero movie. Blade was, which I say Blade wasn't the first black superhero movie. Steel was, starring Shaquille O'Neal. It was a horrible movie, but a superhero movie nonetheless.
Yeah.
So do your research, racist white guys.
Yeah.
Because you're wrong.
And
secondly, okay, your argument is, well, Black Panther wasn't the first black movie to do it. But for some reason, when Black Panther was made, it seemed to open a lot more doors than Blade did.
Well, I think because it didn't just have a black
Lead. It had a black cast.
It had a black cast. It had a black... I mean, even people behind the camera and the director. I mean, it was a huge shift culturally speaking because the black community had a big voice in how this movie... Well, the black community in the creative sense and meaning actors, things like that.
Yeah.
They had a big say in how this movie was developed and made and everything.
Right.
And it is such a freaking phenomenal movie. I think that was a big difference in Blade because when I look at Blade, I really don't think of it as a superhero movie at all.
No, yeah,
I mean,
it's a vampire movie.
Yeah.
Blade is a superhero in the Marvel universe. Well, he's a character in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a vampire. He's not really a superhero. He's a vampire.
Right.
Was it a superhero movie? Not really. It was a Marvel vampire movie.
Yeah.
But to kind of go on to more of what he said, he told Essence, predominantly I think Black magazine.
Yeah.
He said it makes sense if black audiences didn't see. Wait, what? Oh, it didn't make sense if black audiences didn't see us first. And with that quote, he's referencing that he's prioritizing black press to kind of critique his movies first. Like, not critique,
it's their
but
experience.
because this goes exactly with what Brie Larson said,
yep.
where
The whole Wrinkle in Time.
A 40-year-old white dude isn't going to get the point of what Get Out or what Us is trying to say.
No, and if they do, it's going to be from a white perspective, and it's going to be missing the point.
Right, they're going to be missing some things.
Yeah.
And he went on to say, if a version went out if a version went out there into the world without black people seeing it first, I would have had a problem, is what he said. And and I kind of agree with that. Where you made a movie kind of about black people, wouldn't you want the first kind of critics or the first people to see this movie to be black people?
That's your base audience.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what you're making your audience, it's just like if you make a horror film, you're making it for an audience that likes horror films. You're not making for an audience that watches
Disney.
Disney.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna want the audience that you're making the movie for to watch it first.
Yes. Especially like Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
Was a movie that came out not too long ago.
Yeah.
And I saw predominantly every time I saw, a quote or anybody talking about it, it was from an Asian person.
Yeah,
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones seeing it.
Yeah, exactly.
This movie is about them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think we have a huge, we have so many issues in this country, but we have a huge issue in this country where people who are predominantly white, even if you're white, you're still better off than people who are poor and black or poor and Mexican. You are not going to be probably followed around a store. You're probably not going to be pulled over. You're less likely to be pulled over for no reason. We have a huge problem in this country, and I think white people get just so offended when things just don't cover them completely.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's other voices in this country. There's other experiences in this country. There's other stories to be told. Like, I don't understand. It's if you're going to tell, for example, if you're going to take an experience of a slave back in the South sometime, back when slavery was still legal, and you tell the experience of that slave, you're not going to tell it in a way that white people understand it. I mean, you're not going to tell it from a white person's perspective. You're
Right.
going to tell it from a black person's perspective.
Right.
Like it's so simple to understand why he wants to do that. Why Brie Larson would like women and people who are minorities to review movies that have to do with women and minorities.
Right.
And white guys, and not just white guys, mostly white guys, but also white women are just getting so bent out of shape. And I'm thinking to myself, you look like an idiot. You look like such a child.
Yeah.
I mean, what Brie Larson said, I'm so frustrated with people being upset about what she said who didn't look into it all the way. Same with Jordon Peele. Clearly, people didn't look into what he said all the way. And like I said, you only have to watch 2 episodes of Key and Peele to see he is the least racist person you could possibly meet.
Yeah.
I believe both of them, didn't they grow up in predominantly white?
Yeah, they both married white women.
No, but they grew up in predominantly white.
Yeah.
Like, they don't, their comedy and their creativity doesn't come from that place, doesn't come from a place of racism.
Right.
It's just they're speaking to a community, a specific community.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people keep making a big deal about that.
I don't know.
It's
Those people
exhausting.
it's annoying.
It is.
But
And he can't win.
no, you can't. He literally is not making. He can't make anybody happy because there are people on both sides who are just annoyed with it. And it's just like, shut up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the next story, into the talked about some movies. I'm gonna talk about some games.
All right.
Now, PlayStation started this new episodic type show on their YouTube channel called PlayStation State of Play. It debuted on March 25th, and people seemed very disappointed in it. I watched it. It was about a half hour long. And it, mostly showed VR games, new VR games coming out, and a couple of non-VR games. But
And for people who may not know what VR game is,
virtual reality.
Okay.
Sorry. Because PlayStation has, their new virtual reality headset, and people like me who saw the headset and it was kind of not disappointed, worried more that it would kind of go more the way of the PlayStation Move, which was this other thing. It was like the Wii, how the Wii had the controllers that you would move and stuff would move on the screen the way you would move the controls. And PlayStation did that as well. And they did a pretty good job, but the hardware wasn't there, or the software wasn't there. They weren't a lot of games or good games made for it. And the same thing, they did it with the PlayStation Portable, the PSP, and also their PlayStation Vita, which was just a kind of a more ramped up version of the PlayStation Portable. It had a big opening and it had a couple of good games, but then it started to kind of die out a bit. And so whenever Sony announces anything like this, I worry, and I'm sure people have the same thought that I do, that it's going to go big for the first year or two, and then they're just going to stop supporting it, and it's just going to fall to the wayside. So seeing their first video about game, kind of upcoming game news and trailers and game announcements is really what the video is. Mm-hmm. To see that it was predominantly VR games kind of made me a little happy. That I was like, all right, they're dedicating almost an entire episode of their first episode of this series to VR. So that means they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
That means games are being made for it. That means this super expensive headset is not going to be a waste of money, and it's not going to be just another thing that PlayStation made that is going to just collect dust on your shelf.
right?
So when I saw a lot of YouTube videos of people saying that it was a disappointment and it was a failure, and I just didn't get it. It was like, it was their first episode.
Yeah, give them a break.
What are you even critiquing right now? It was their first episode. And a few of the videos I looked at, the first trailer to show was an Iron Man game. And it was an Iron Man VR game. So you're Iron Man flying around in the Iron Man suit, but it's VR, so you're looking through his eyes,
That's cool.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is
And people coming out of the last Spider-Man game that Sony made, which was a third-person action adventure, you're shooting your webs and you're swinging throughout, New York City, and it was super fun and super beautiful and everything was great. People, when Iron Man, the logo first showed up, people were very excited for that style game. And when it was shown that it was a VR game, people kind of were like, oh no, it's a VR game. It's not this other game. And from there, people's disappointment, they were disappointed at that, and I think it just carried on through the rest of the show, which was kind of just stupid. It was like, you're being a baby. You sound like a baby.
Yeah.
I didn't like the first thing they showed me, so the rest of it, I don't like. I don't like it. Grow up. Grow up. Not everything is for you.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of comments of people saying, I enjoyed it. I have a PlayStation VR headset, and I was very happy to see that there were a bunch of new games coming out, and some of those look great. Some of them don't, but some of them look great.
Yeah.
Some of them are right up my alley. And some of those, I was like, shit, I think I might want a headset, because some of those look really fun.
Yeah.
And some of them weren't, VR games. Some of them was just regular games that I was like, oh my God, that looks really good. I'm probably going to play that game because that looks like a really fun game.
Why do people have to be like that?
Other thing
it
too,
has to be all about them, or they just freak out.
The other thing too is that because people were also mocking it because Nintendo does they do their own style of this. I mean, they were the first ones to do it. The access stuff, and it's usually about an hour. They're usually about 45 minutes to an hour long, and they have a lot of upcoming games and trailers and news on these games. So they're kind of the first ones to do it. So when PlayStation announced it, it was like, oh, they're copying what Nintendo is doing. It's like, all right, but it works.
Yeah. Why does Why do we have to reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, video games do this all the time.
Yeah.
There are plenty of video games that you play that have a mechanic taken out of this game, or or multiple mechanics taken from multiple different games. It doesn't make that game shitty. It makes it better. Because if you're going to copy a good mechanic, you're going to copy, if you're going to copy a fighting style and you're going to copy the God of War fighting system, that's a good system to copy because it's, very hack and slashy and fun. If that's the style of game you're going with, it works. So like you said, why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
It's like, all right, we're going to have a half-hour show and we're going to show trailers and game news. Oh, another thing already does that. Okay.
This is different.
And there's another thing that does that for just movies. Are you going to say Nintendo is copying those movie channels?
Yeah.
No, because there's only a limited way to fucking portray this news.
Yeah, I know.
Give me a break. Like, I may sound like a fanboy, which is just a stupid fucking phrase.
Yeah.
But it was they were treating PlayStation very unfair. Now, did I think it was a phenomenal show? No, I wasn't blown away, but I also recognize that this is their first episode. This is their first go at something like this. Give them a break. Give them time to evolve it.
Yes.
Maybe it'll get better.
Yeah, because I think when you just kick people, I was going to say, when people come out with something, you just kick them in the junk, they don't want to play with you no more.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to not do it or shy away from it or whatever. And then people are going to complain, well, why aren't they doing it? Well, because you're a jerk.
Yeah. So, and this is how you know these people don't have kids. Because if your kid is first starting to learn how to ride a bike and he falls, do you just go, wow, that kid sucks at riding a bike?
Yeah,
it's his first time sitting on a bicycle, you asshole. You're going to critique a fucking 8-year-old because he doesn't know how to ride a bike, and the first time he gets on it, he falls over? Oh, that kid sucks. That kid needs to stop. Oh, that kid's only copying what Barry's kid does across the street. What the fuck are you talking about? That is... You sound like an idiot. You sound like, this wasn't for me, so it was really stupid. Not everything is for you.
Yeah.
Not everything is about your likes. Like I said, a lot of the comments of people who own VR headsets were very excited with the news they saw. And they were like, I'm going to get that game. People were sounded upset about the Iron Man game, and a lot of people were saying, definitely going to be buying that Iron Man game.
Yep.
Not everything is for you. This is video games. That's what makes video games so great. They're for everybody.
Yeah,
I don't like The Sims. You love The Sims.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say Heidi's an idiot because she loves The Sims so much. It's not my cup of tea. I don't like The Sims.
Yeah.
But she loves it. I'm glad you love something.
Yeah, what is it?
Let people enjoy things.
Yeah, quit crapping on it.
God, people shit all over things. And the other interesting thing about this whole, PlayStation State of Play thing was that this was coming off of the news that Sony will not be attending E3 this year.
Oh, really?
And for people who don't know, E3 is the Electronics Entertainment Expo. And this is
It's a big show.
This is the creme de la creme of video games. Go to this event to announce their new games, new hardware, any new gaming news you will hear there. Unless certain companies are waiting for specialty events like BlizzCon or stuff like that. But E3 is usually the place where everybody goes and everybody spends 2 hours on a stage showing new stuff. And the fact that Sony is not doing that this year,
why?
I don't know the exact reason why, but it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to go out there, to set up booths, to rent space for those booths.
Yeah.
I'm sure it.
They have to fly people there.
You got to
put them in hotels
there
to pay for food.
Yeah, some of those people, they're flying in from other countries.
Yeah.
So they have to put them in hotels.
But Sony is not a mom and pop shop. They got money.
But the other thing too is that with a lot of these E3 events, stuff gets spoiled and leaked all the time.
Yeah, that is true.
So it's never I don't want to say never, because sometimes it is. There are surprises up there. But for the most part, it's like, oh, we heard about this. This was a rumor that this was coming out. They're just kind of acknowledging the rumor and saying, yep, the rumor is true. This is what's happening. And why waste your time? Why waste your money going to an event to do that when you can just do a half hour or an hour show on YouTube once a month?
Oh, yeah.
And show all the new things coming out.
True.
Why not just do that? Because that's what Nintendo does. Not to say that Nintendo's not going to be at E3, but the fact that PlayStation isn't going there, they're one of the big three.
Yeah.
Nintendo, Xbox, Sony. They're one of the big three. So for them to not go, this kind of maybe signs of things to come that maybe E3 could eventually go away. And I wouldn't be surprised if I eventually saw Microsoft with their own half hour to hour, show on YouTube of, future games coming out or whatever.
Yeah, I think these kind of conventions are kind of like similar to malls.
Yeah.
People just don't go shop there anymore. If you can go in and see what you want to see, and you don't have to go to a video store or a video game store and play around with a game to see what it's like. You can go onto YouTube and
just watch somebody else
a playthrough, and then you're like, oh yeah, I like that game.
I like the way that style is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might get it.
So I think big things are becoming more online than they used to be.
Yeah, but the other thing too is that it's I lost my train of thought.
They're shutting the Swansea Mall, right?
No!
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Saw it on the news today.
Oh,
For people who don't live in New England or Massachusetts.
The Swansea Mall is oh my God.
It's a dying mall, but most of the malls are dying.
They are
That's what
dying.
I'm saying. I think malls are just dying away, and these events are probably dying away because people just don't go do that stuff anymore.
So what I was thinking, I had a brain fart, but what I was thinking was like a lot of times too, like I don't watch all the presentations.
Yeah.
And the presentations I don't watch, I just watch the recap, or I watch the montage videos on YouTube of all the trailers that EA released, or here's all the announcements from BioWare, and there's a 20-minute video of every single trailer.
And you save yourself so much money. You don't have to go to E3.
That's what I mean. I would love to go to E3.
Yeah.
Just to experience it. But, I can understand a company not wanting to waste their time to do it.
True.
Because why?
Yeah.
Because what's the point? You go there, you do a presentation, people shit on the presentation.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it was a cool trailer. They had a stupid band come out and play a dumb song, and then they showed some gameplay. It's like, all right, then fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Here's the half-hour video on YouTube. Here's all the trailers. Oh, we don't like that. Eat shit. I don't care.
Yeah, I know.
How's that? Somebody liked it. Go fuck yourself.
Yep.
If I was a CEO at PlayStation, that would be my fucking attitude.
Yeah.
I would just be on Twitter going, eat shit.
Yeah.
Hashtag go fuck yourself. I don't care. You know what I mean? We're not going bankrupt. I don't care what the hell your problem is. You have critiques. You can't please everybody. Everybody's going to, nobody's going to be, not everybody's going to be happy.
Yeah, but you know what? Nobody in time has ever been completely happy, but it seems like within the last 10 years, more so recently, it's getting worse, I think, but I didn't think it could. But people just are miserable. They don't, if something doesn't apply to them, they're upset. You know, everything has to be about them. Everything's instant gratification, or if it's a delay, then it's horrible.
Yeah.
They try to take down people for things that they don't even know what they say completely. They try to take down movies because, again, they don't know what people say completely. They read into things. They just want to be mad.
I think that's the problem, is that, we're such an angry culture now.
Oh my God, yeah.
And nobody's happy.
No.
Nobody can be happy. Every time a movie comes out, or like a movie for a trailer comes out, I always see at least one response of, like, who asked for this? Nobody asked for this. Nobody asks for any movie to be coming out. They're movies.
Nobody
They're a
asked
form
for
of entertainment.
Nobody asked for your mom to open her legs either.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of got me there, honey. But it's just, it's insane because these are forms of entertainment.
Yeah, I know it.
You don't like it, it's not for you.
Yeah.
I don't want to go see this movie. All right.
For example, Us. Okay.
Yeah.
I have no desire to watch that movie.
Right, but you're not a horror person.
No, I'm not. I'm not
really want to see it.
I won't watch Get Out either because I don't like psychological thrillers.
Right.
They freak me out. But I don't get mad that he's not making movies that I can watch.
Yeah, because you're not going to watch them anyway.
No, but that's what people do. They're like, why can't he make a movie that I can watch? Oh, I'm sorry that the world revolves around you, child.
Yeah, other people made those movies.
Yeah,
Go watch them.
I don't care. He's making movies and people enjoy it. Awesome. If I want to laugh at something he did, I'll watch reruns of Key and Peele because that's the only thing I can watch that he's
pretty much.
Because
the new Twilight Zone, I think, is coming out. I think he's hosting it.
I'll watch those too.
That looks,
But we are a very angry culture. You know, we can't just be happy. Like, I get so giddy and, like, start clapping my hands and get all excited about something. And then somebody has to say something shitty.
Oh, I hate it.
And then I just feel like, why? Why do you have to crap on people's things?
Yeah,
Why? Just let people, like, we're angry, but we can't let anybody else be happy.
Yeah, just shut up.
Yeah, I know it.
I'm mad. Nobody cares, Gary. Go home.
Susan,
Nobody cares, Gary,
Susan.
go home. The shittiest couple on the block, Gary and Susan. Just go home.
There's always a Gary.
There's a Gary and a Susan somewhere.
Jesus.
And if your name is Gary and Susan, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We're sorry.
You might not be like that. But if you're like that, I hate you.
You're probably lovely. And if you're not, yeah.
Yeah, if you're not like that and you are like the Susan that we're describing, we hate you anyway.
Yeah, screw you.
Go with the flat earthers and go to hell.
Oh my God.
First, this isn't anything, but I just wanted to share this because I mentioned it to you, and I wish I was as smart as this guy was that thought of there's a travel agent or travel agency that is setting up cruises only for flat earthers to visit the ice wall at the edge of the earth. And I wish I thought of that idea because I would be rolling in millions right now.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, maybe not millions. Hopefully not millions. That there's not a lot of people out there.
There's
like
going to be
Are there
millions.
Really?
Some celebrities think this.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Shaquille O'Neal thinks the earth is flat.
No. Really?
Yeah. Kazam. Kazam thinks it.
Are you
100%. Certain athletes. And it's I think it's because they've been hit in the head too many times.
Well, yeah.
But some of these other people, there's no excuse. Unless they were dropped a few times. But it's so funny to me because because you know it's going to be... That cruise ship is going to be full. They are going to be full. And if I was the captain, I'd be like, I'm just going to... sail them to Antarctica. And be like, there it is, guys. Look at the ice.
Yeah. Can't go past there.
All right, can't go past there. Let's go back now. That's it. Where's all the military? Oh, this is the only area where there isn't military. When I heard that news, I laughed out loud and I was like, God, I wish I invented that.
I still find it... I mean, I believe you, but I still find it so hard to believe that there are people out there that think the Earth is flat.
Yeah, well...
But, I mean, there
are Holocaust deniers.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
So... there are stupid everywhere.
Oh, my God, yeah.
But anyway, so on to the next story.
Yeah, please dig us out.
This is actually pretty interesting. This one is a new study shows that there is no link between violent video games and aggression in teenagers.
Okay, I will say I did see another study that was actually being done.
But this one might be it.
And
this one just got a call.
And it showed there is a difference in empathy when you expose something to violence constantly. They start losing their empathy. They start getting numb to simple things of like helping people and just looking out for people.
Oh, I saw that a long time ago.
Yeah, but
it wasn't in teenagers. It was like smaller kids.
Yeah,
I saw it like it was a video.
Yeah, but I think that you're going to have just like sometimes bacon is good for you. Sometimes it's not good for you. Sometimes it is good for you.
I don't know. But but anyway, it was a pretty interesting study, I guess, courtesy of the Oxford Internet Institution and the University of Oxford. Jesus Christ, that was a mouthful. This new study was published in Royal Society Open Science and is being touted as being one of the most comprehensive studies on the subject to date. Dun dun.
I'm going to be a denier right now.
Huh?
I'm going to be a denier.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, I know it's Oxford, and everybody's going to... Yeah. But,
they have a dictionary.
Well, shit, then.
I mean, they have words.
I think if you just watch things that are violent, you can become numb to them. So why wouldn't you?
Well, that's why a lot of people say like the news is like if they show too much violence on the news, that's not good for society because you're constantly watching it.
Yeah.
But they went on to say that I guess compared to previous research on the subject, which relied on self-reported data from teenagers, this study used information from parents and carers to judge the level of aggression, not the children. So they didn't ask the kids.
Well, because kids are going to lie.
Well, of course they would. So they asked parents and caregivers.
Yeah.
What they're seeing. And they also did a funny, pretty interesting, where they hid the content of the video games. The content was classified behind the PEGI and the ESRB rating systems. PEGI is the system they use in Europe. ESRB is what they use in the US, and that's just the rated teen, rated M for mature, rated E for everyone. It's the video game version of the movie rating system.
Right.
And so they didn't tell the people playing or the people watching what it was rated. So that way they wouldn't get a perceived idea of the level of violence.
Right.
Like, I'm going to play a rated M game. I know there's going to be blood. Yep. I know it's ultra-violent.
Yep.
So they didn't tell anybody. So it was almost like a blind study in that sense, which is, I think, the best way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the study comprised of British 14 to 15-year-olds and an equal number of parents or carers, totaling 2,008 subjects in all. So they tested a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of other people. And what a weird number, 2008. Like, you wouldn't have just stopped that at 2000, or at least rounded up to 2010. It's just such, I don't know. The 8 is, it's just the 8 is so weird. It gives me, like, Ignish. But the result of this thorough approach showed that there was no link between violent video games and teenage aggression, something that lead researcher, I'm going to butcher the hell out of this name, Professor Andrew Przybylski went on to clarify. I'm going to show you the name. It's right there, the P name. Can you pronounce that?
No. There's no vowels in that.
There's a lot of vowels.
I mean, there's no...
There's very little consonants.
Yeah. Like, there's no...
Przybylski. It sounds Polish.
There's one vowel. It's an I.
Sometimes Y, Heidi.
Oh, Jesus. I can't win.
There's a weird Z in there for no reason.
Yeah, it's... anyways.
But anyway, this is what he said. It said, the idea that violent video games drive real-world aggression is a popular one, but it hasn't tested very well over time. Despite interest in the topic by parents and policymakers, the research has not demonstrated that there is a cause for concern. However, he did admit that trash-talking online and other such behavior warranted further study. So the violence in the game, just because there's blood and gore, it doesn't mean it's going to affect you. This is what I'm taking. But playing aggressively is what causes the aggression. That's what it sounds like to me. Like, I can play a game with blood and violence, but if I'm playing it casually, it's not going to hit me or affect me as much as if I was playing a World War II shooter online against other people and getting aggravated with other people playing. And, because now it's like when you watch a football game and people are playing, there's an aggression there because of not the testosterone, but the adrenaline.
Yeah.
Of doing those acts is what's kind of fueling their aggression. And I can see that being a thing. I like that that he kind of separates it, because I can see that. Yeah, how many times have you heard stories of like, oh man, like fucking, you can't play an online game without a 14-year-old online, calling your mother a whore or whatever the hell like that. But it's like, I can play this adult game and not have those aggressive thoughts. But the second you go online and you play over a headset, then it's like, go fuck yourself. Why weren't you over there? How come you didn't shoot that guy? What the fuck are you doing? You're a piece of shit. Start teabagging people and doing stupid things. Because now you're playing to win.
Yeah.
Now you're on like a theoretical battlefield and you want to win. But if you're playing a solo mission or the story mode, it's not going to get you that much.
I don't know. I guess I'm not totally sold on the study, only because environmental things affect people. And if you can't play too much violent stuff on the news because it starts messing with people's minds, that's not even a video game you play. That's just things you're seeing on the screen.
But I also think
with teenagers, that's a tough thing to gauge, because teenagers are so screwed up anyways.
That's true.
I mean, they're chemically just so screwed up and angry and angsty. So
yeah,
I don't know how much a video game would affect them. They're just already over that.
They're already there. But these are why certain situations. This is why I agree with rating systems, and why I agree with a more what's the word, like harsher rules with
rigid.
Thank you. More rigid rules for these, like certain game, like if they're rated M for mature, 18 or older. Game like GameStop, it is against policy to sell a rated M game to anyone younger than 18. Mm-hmm. But
you got parents buying that shit for their kids.
But that's the and that's the point I wanted to make, was that like with a kid like that, their minds are still sponges. They're still absorbing things.
Yeah.
So, with a kid in that age, yeah, I don't refute that you might get more they might be more signs of aggression there, or whatever. But I think as the kid gets older, he might come out of it, he might not. But I think it's the parents' responsibility to understand what they're playing,
absolutely,
and to pay to it. I remember there was a story from years ago that personally I dealt with. Was this guy I worked with. He bought a game for his son, and his son was like 10 years old or something like that. And the cover art was very cartoony. It was like fairy tale characters, but it was like a kind of a side scroller action game. So he was like, "Oh, this should be fine." They're fairy tale characters. The cover of it didn't, it looked, fanciful and kind of weird, but nothing violent.
Right.
But that specific game had blood, gore. It was, the art style was very fairy tale and cartoony, but the action was very adult.
Wow.
And he bought it. He gave it to his kid to play, and it was like, what the hell? And he immediately shut it up. And it was like, and when he told me what the game was, when he's like, and I bought this game and it had fairy tale, and I knew exactly the game he was talking about. I was like, oh, is it this game? He's like, yeah, that's the game. I was like, yeah, that you gotta watch out. You gotta that's his fault. He should have done more research. Just turn the goddamn box around.
Yeah.
And look at the screenshots behind it.
Yeah.
And it'll show you behind, on the back of the box, some of the screenshots. And it might have shown you, look at the rating, because I'm sure there was a big M on the top right corner to tell you that this was rated M for mature. You can't judge a book by its cover.
Right, yeah. Yep.
And I think it's one of those things where it's like, you just gotta be more aware of these things.
Yeah.
Especially as a parent. Now, I don't think that, when it comes to a certain age, that when something violent happens and in the news they're like, oh, he was an avid player of this game, it's like, it's not the game's fault. Why are you blaming the game?
Yeah.
The game had nothing to do with him being a psychopath. Because
if somebody has, okay, like Ted Bundy. Okay. Ted Bundy was going to do what he was going to do. It didn't matter what he watched, what he read, what he saw, nothing.
Right.
Some people just have something in them. Some kids are violent.
Yeah.
And they're violent because they're violent. And maybe it's a chemical thing. Maybe it's they were abused. I don't know.
Well, it's just
a video game is not going to make them more of what they already are.
That's what I mean. And that's what I argue, is that, it's not going to make you more violent. I agree that, you watch enough violent movies or you watch enough, gore on the news or whatever. I agree that you get desensitized.
Yeah.
I agree to that. But just because you're desensitized, it doesn't mean you're going to go out and go on a murder spree.
No, and I think what I was saying was more of not that kids are going to watch something violent, play something violent, and then become violent.
Right.
I think that we live in a society that just promotes violence anyways. And
I
I
agree.
think that's why kids are more violent than they have ever been. But I do think there is something to say that they lose any kind of empathy and compassion because they're so desensitized to what they see. These are the kids that don't stand up to bullies anymore. They're like, they just watch it happen or they video it happen.
Right. But that's also, for me anyway, that's also a parenting thing. Because as a parent, you need to teach your kid.
It is a parenting thing.
You need to teach your kid empathy. You need to teach your kid that lives matter, that you need to care for people. If someone falls, help them up.
Yeah.
It's laziness on the parent's part, and I'm a parent.
Mm-hmm.
It's laziness on a parent's part to see those things happen and to just because there are a lot of adults that when there's a fight happening, they take their phone out and they start recording the fight. There's enough adults that if a person falls, they just go, "Ooh, shit, he fell." And they just keep going. Those are full-grown adults.
There was recently a story where this man kicked this 80-something or 70-something-year-old woman in the face on the subway.
Oh, Jesus.
A couple times. They found him and he's got arrested and everything. But he just kicked her in the face and people were just videoing it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to
how
myself,
does nobody shy?
But my point is that those are adults doing it.
Right.
So
those are adults.
It's not just kids.
Yeah.
And I think adults are a lot shittier than kids.
Yeah.
Even if kids play these video games and start losing their empathy, they're also watching people their adults around them do these things with no empathy as well.
Right. And I
So-
think it's more of what they see. I mean, like what they see of their parents.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this before. Kids aren't born racist.
No.
Kids aren't born bigoted.
No.
Kids aren't born sexist. They learn that from something.
Yep.
Or from somebody. Mm-hmm. I don't blame movies. I don't blame music because especially the Columbine shooters.
Yeah.
When they did it, they listened to Marilyn Manson. And they played a couple of computer games, and that's what they blamed immediately. They blamed Marilyn Manson and whatever these computer games were, and it was like,
Because
why are
there's a
you?
scapegoat.
Yeah, why are you blaming these other things? If anything, Marilyn Manson music may have spoke to them as outcasts and made them feel better about themselves.
Yeah, but these kids and those kids came from great families where
Yeah.
they weren't abused. They were damaged.
Yeah.
Those boys were just monsters.
Yeah.
And they were going to do something horrible no matter what.
They weren't
Didn't
wired
matter.
right. They weren't wired
Yeah.
right from birth.
It wasn't the video games and it wasn't the music. They were damaged.
I hate when people blame media for shitty things that are happening. Is there an abundance of violence on media? Yes, 100%.
Well, and
I am not
it's
going to.
celebrated, I think, is the problem.
That's also true. Yeah,
You know?
I mean, look at sports.
But there's so many things that in our society that are celebrated that make us dumber.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look at sports.
well, yeah, but violence, and then I'm sorry, I cannot stand the Kardashians. They're all
God.
vile people. All of them.
No, but I mean reality TV.
Yeah.
Just as a
That's
general
just
reality
garbage,
TV.
brain garbage.
It's garbage TV.
It's brain garbage, and it's celebrated. People go on TV, or I see YouTubers and different people trying to look like them and getting all these chemicals pumped into their ass so they can
Yeah.
have big butts. I mean, some
It's
of this
crazy.
stuff is going to kill these girls.
Yeah.
Because it's like a house cleaning solution. They make anyways.
Jesus, what?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
This one lady lost both her legs.
Oh my God.
Yep. But the point is, these things are celebrated. These horrible, shallow things are celebrated. Violence and all this other stuff, and then compassion and kindness and just is
When-
you're weak.
Yeah.
That's weakness, and you shouldn't be like that.
And when a person stands up against bullies or against the norm, such as Jordon Peele or
Brie Larson.
they're assholes.
yeah.
I'm sorry. What? That's nope.
I've tried to do.
You're wrong.
I've tried to I always give you crap about reading what people say about stuff. 'Cause that stuff just infuriates me. I want to respond to everybody like, you effing moron.
Yeah.
But I don't. And but I do try to watch some of the videos of people replying to like what Brie Larson said and stuff. And I just look at them and I think, oh my God, why?
Yeah.
Why did your mother not take a birth control pill?
Yeah. There's one or two, one specifically. There's one channel specifically on YouTube that I just scroll past every time because I know exactly what he's going to say.
It's just crappy.
I know exactly what his point's going to be. He's going to read it in a voice. Oh, this is what she's saying. Yeah. Like, that's not what she sounds like.
And that's not how she said it.
And you know, I'm glad you got punched in the face at a convention.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I'm not going to say who he is, but I mean, you shouldn't just punch somebody in the face.
We shouldn't condone violence,
but you're a piece of shit. I'm kind of glad you got punched in the face. It's kind of like those. Not to say that he's a Nazi. He's not a Nazi. He's just stupidly conservative. Oh. But it was like when those, alt-right guys got punched in the face, and it was like, punch a Nazi. And people were like, we shouldn't condone violence. It's like, no, I see a Nazi, I'm punching him in the fucking face.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't condone violence either. You should talk about it, but I'm punching a fucking Nazi in the fucking face.
I'm sorry. Captain America punched Hitler, and I don't think Nazis have a place in this country, so...
We were all fine with it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
When Captain America punched Hitler in the comic book, we were all happy about it.
Yeah.
So when some rando punches another random Nazi guy in the face, we should all be proud of that guy.
Yeah, because that's...
We should Photoshop a Captain America shield on his arm and a mustache on the other guy and recreate that cover.
I know.
Or that panel. But I found it a pretty interesting study.
How long did they do the study?
How long?
Yeah, how long did it take?
Oh, I don't know. It didn't really say.
Way to be prepared, Tim.
It didn't say.
Oh, it didn't say.
Or it could have said, I just didn't see it. But I wasn't really...
2008 people...
I mean, I'm sure it took a while.
It sounded like... Well, yeah, because it sounds like they...
At least a year.
It said the most comprehensive study. So
I'm sure they took their time with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But, it doesn't matter. Because people are still going to blame violent video games like Grand Theft Auto for...
Well, I think people...
Like Jack Thompson, infamous... lawyer Jack Thompson argued that Grand Theft Auto was a police shooter simulator. What?
Oh, I
forgot
we talked about this. Yeah.
But one of the first podcasts. But
that's
early
right.
2000s, I believe, when he was fully trying to get rid of the games, and it was blaming games for violence. And it's like, you're a fucking idiot. And his career has gone. I haven't heard about him in such a long time. I'm surprised I even remembered his name, because ever since then, he was pretty much laughed out of the community because it was just you're an idiot. You have no proof. You have no study, no proof to.
You can't just say stuff. That's stuff that's really dangerous to say without any kind of actual fact.
But it was so funny because video game fans like me, we knew what game he was talking about. And we're like, no, you're way off. No, it's not it at all.
Well, that's somebody who's
he doesn't know it. He doesn't know the game.
The game wasn't made for him.
Right.
That's why he doesn't get it. Didn't get it.
Yeah. Sorry, jackass.
Not for you, guy.
But yeah, that's
it.
That's it. Oh, and I mean, if we have time, we have so Google. Really, Google is making a new gaming system. Well, gaming platform.
Okay.
It's called Google Stadia. And what they use is the no consoles, no hardware. Everything is on it's a cloud-based system.
So you play through your computer?
You can play through anything. So this is on the store, on the Google Store. They have some bullet points. Game where you want, when you want. Play across multiple devices, including laptops, desktops, and select phones and tablets.
Oh.
I even saw there was a video. They were at a conference and they showed what they were doing, and they even had it on a TV. So I'm sure if you have like a casting device or something to connect to it, it was on there. It was on a TV, and they were showing how seamless it was. That they were just able to call it down from the cloud and boom, they're in it, and they were playing. They were playing the new Assassin's Creed game.
Oh, okay.
Just to show the visual, like a newer game. And they were saying new ways to play through YouTube and beyond. Go from watching a video to playing a game in seconds, with even more innovative experiences to come for select games. So I don't know exactly what that means, but it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
It sounds like, I'd like to see how it's used and what they mean specifically by these things.
Right.
Up to 4K HDR at 60 frames per second. Enjoy gaming the way you love with beautiful HDR graphics and smooth frame rates. Play instantly. No updates, no downloads. Jump right into the game. And that's what they were showing. Like, they had several devices. They had a laptop, they had a desktop, they had a cell phone, a tablet, and then last was the TV. And they were just going from one to the other. And the game was just loading almost instantly.
Oh, wow.
And it was very quick and very impressive. It was very impressive. And then always getting better. Stadia's cloud-based infrastructure evolves to meet the demands of players, developers, and YouTube creators. So, they're they're really selling the point where no hardware. You're not buying a console. It's just kind of what it sounds like. It's going to be like a monthly subscription type thing. And I think something I saw was
Do you
something
think that
around.
may be the direction we're going in?
I think that is the future. I think it is the future of,
Because that seems way more reliable.
I don't know. I don't know about reliable because you have to have a good internet connection. And
Well,
some
yeah,
people
but
don't.
that's...
But
what I'm
besides
saying
that-
reliable is we seem to have heard lately a lot of games that mess with a lot of people's systems in one way or another.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the Xbox One.
Yes.
And then it died.
Oh, yeah.
And then we bought another one.
I believe with the
And another
Xbox One, it was... Oh, no, it was not the one. It was a 360. Xbox 360 had the infamous red ring of death. And at the power button, there's usually a green light around it.
Yeah.
When it was red, that means your system was dead.
Yeah.
And it would randomly just happen. And it was very, very scary for Xbox 360 owners at that time because it was like, if I turn my system on, am I going to get it? You know what I mean? I never had a 360, so I never had that worry. But, I knew people who had it, and it was like, is it working still?
I think
thank God.
I think you would have to have have an internet connection.
You'd have to have a
That would be
reliable
the only
one.
drawback, but it's also not having to buy a whole new console.
Right.
You don't have to constantly go to buy the video games. You can just go right into the game.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
just
you'd probably
seems-
have to buy the game. But
Well, yeah.
in the
your
cloud.
Subscription.
Subscription, yeah. Or a
Of some
prescription,
sort.
whatever. However
Yeah.
you want to...
For some people, it is a prescription.
However you want to see it. Yeah. It's a drug. Whatever.
It's a drug.
It's an addiction. But I don't know. It seems... I do think that this is, the future. I think this could be the future of gaming. And especially with like VR and AR, which is I forget what the A means, but it's augmented reality, which is pretty much certain games have AR on your phone, where you look through your phone and you could see your computer desk, but there's like a Pokemon on your desk.
Right.
And you with it from your desk. And there's a couple of AR games. PlayStation did a couple, and using their camera. So I can see that becoming more of the future as well, where especially with VR, where kind of you're getting put into the game and you're in the game and you're not controlling it with a controller, like almost like Ready Player One in a sense.
Oh, yep.
Where you just kind of almost, again, another movie reference, almost like The Matrix, where you kind of jack in and you're in the game. Okay, let's throw in another movie reference there, where it's like Back to the Future. No, I don't know. That one doesn't work.
Now that's just randos.
That one doesn't work. But I don't know much about it. I'm not gonna just write it off as just like whatever. It's something stupid. It's not gonna work because I don't know anything about it. And I think this could, even if it's not Stadia, this is one
direction.
step forward into the future in that direction. And I think it's only a matter of time until, if this does work, we see Sony and Microsoft and even Nintendo do something like this.
They're all going to jump on if it's successful.
Yeah,
because
if it's
again,
as
they don't
successful.
want to
Right.
reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, and to not have to buy a new console, that's
I know.
that's a big deal because they get expensive. And
Yeah. But how are they going to justify the pricing then?
I think it'll be, like I said, a monthly subscription, maybe like $20 a month to have to have your own cloud or whatever the hell.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Or your own section of the cloud. I don't know exactly how that works. But anyway, that's it.
That's it.
That's all I got. What else more do you want, Heidi? You've bled this stone dry.
I know.
Feed me, Seymour. Here's another movie reference. Ha! Got it.
You one more in.
Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah, sorry. Brain fart. Yeah, I'm good.
All right, for listening to our episodes or downloading them, you can go to www.geek-lish. You can also go to Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Blueberry, Google Podcast, and iHeartRadio to did I say Google Podcast? Yes, and
Yeah.
iHeartRadio to listen or download our episodes.
We have so many.
Yeah,
There's so many options.
I know.
You have no reason to not listen. Why aren't you listening?
There's absolutely no way you can't find us.
Yeah, and we're also on the website.
Yeah,
We're also
on the website. Yeah. And check out our website for extras. And again, we're still working on our swag.
Yeah.
I know we've said that a few times, but
Be patient.
be patient. We've got a lot of things in the works, and we'll let you know when things get moving along again.
Yeah, you will be the first to know, obviously, because you're the viewer, and we want you to know when things are up for sale. So
Yeah, I'm excited because I want to buy some stuff.
I know I'm going to be the first one.
I know, me too.
It's up. Just credit card. Take my money. I might as well just be giving myself money at that.
I know, right?
But,
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to the episode.
thanks. Yep. Stay nerdy. Bye. I love it.